just received a new seed catalog, and I thought I would take a couple of moments to share it with you. This may be the most beautiful seed catalog I've ever laid my eyes on. We have a range of nuts, seeds, and berries formed into exquisite flowers and butterflies. I've never ordered from this particular catalog, so I can't say I endorse them, but they definitely have a beautiful cover, don't they? Okay, we begin with, I suppose, the owners of the business. This is common in the catalogs I've received lately. Features on the workers and things going on in the community. And some smiling garden hands. A day at the National Heirloom Exposition. What a nice treat to begin the seed catalog with. This mountain of gourds and a model who has chosen an appropriate ensemble with some autumn colors. Smiling as I would be if I was standing in front of this. Delicious looking heirloom tomatoes and other produce being featured. Continuing with the magazine format, we have some seed collectors. Displaying these varietals. Alright. So when I was browsing online, various new seed catalogs to check out, I looked at their PDF version of last year's catalog, and I remember now seeing these people being featured in a funny way, and this is a nice touch. So it usually boils down to price. If I'm ordering seed, most of the catalogs offer a comparable range of product, and some of them just charge way too much to stay competitive in this marketplace. You really have to have a competitive pricing scheme. But this is absolutely very nice. Everyone in their old-timey outfits. The chef here outfitted with his wok and his wok-like hat. Very nice, very appealing presentation. Okay, I suppose this is their physical outlet stores. Okay. Lots of people having a good time at work. They didn't name the bug, though. Here's Deb, but no mention at all of the bug's name. That's a disappointment. Smiling, happy workers. Very nice. That's the enviable job, Jack, the gardener. That's helpful. And being a thoroughly modern company, they also have a robotics expert who's a bean fan. I actually have some beans simmering away right now on the stove. Great. This is just a very nice layout and a good introduction into the catalog. Some information about GMOs. The whys and hows. Well, there's Dave. He's the actor. The IT cowboy. So a good company, this does make you want to support them when you have just this barest indication of their personalities, and everybody seems to be enjoying their work and having a good time. And so their PR is pretty good so far. And a horticulturalist on staff. There's Art. Alright, now we get into the actual seed. So, this is what it's all about. And it looks like these packets are about $2 each. So that's a good price. I recently placed a big order, like an end of the season sale, and got some varieties I had always had my eye on for like 60, 75 cents a packet. So it wasn't from this company, but that was a great evening of shopping online. I got about 30 seed packets for about $30, including, I have to mention, this Dreadlocks variety of amaranth. And I also got Love Lies Bleeding, which I'm going to grow for the first time next year. So they are beautiful. I've looked up amaranth online, of course, and I've seen some great Google images, pictures of the array of nice colors, and it's an attractive plant. I don't see, let's see, yeah, there's Love Lies Bleeding. The most famous, it says pre-1700s. And the leaves are tasty as cooked greens, it says. So I'm really looking forward to that. One day, actually on my short list of seeds to grow, plants to grow, is asparagus. I love them fresh in the spring, right after they've sprung up out of the ground. And my family has never grown them, and I've only been to a couple of private gardens that had it growing, but cooking asparagus is a great sin, I would say. I've never liked cooked asparagus too much, but fresh from the ground, I love it. Yeah, and the prices are staying uniformly around the $2 or $3 range, so that's good to know. Okay. Always my most favorite section in the catalog is the bean section. I'm always wondering what type of heirloom beans they have. I've been lucky to get a hold of some heirloom varieties from seed exchanges and different retailers. I'm always wondering what's out there, and actually I don't recognize some of these. I'm looking for those pictures, though. Hopefully the next page is filled with beautiful bean photographs. Beautiful bean footage. I especially like the drying beans, soup beans. Absolutely my favorite. So while the prices aren't rock bottom, it's a comfortable price range, especially, with a catalog like this, I would only really be choosing a couple of varieties, a couple of heirlooms, and that's a comfortable price point. It doesn't sting too much, especially if you really, really wanted something. And so I've grown in the past Hutterites, and I got those from a seed swap. And the popular Jacob's Cattle, very famous. I've not grown that one, but it's good to see that they're featuring them. Isn't that a lovely pod? Tongues of So presented nicely here. And seeds always have the best names. The plant varieties. Henderson's Black Valentine. Sounds tasty. This catalog, though, I noticed they don't have a picture for every varietal, which is okay. It looks like they're offering lots of stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of catalog to get through, everyone. Let's see how far we can make it. The Snowcap Half-Runner Large Beautiful Bean. Alright. Fine looking varietals. Aren't they beautiful? Yes. I would like to grow these yard-long beans too one day. It's very well done. Okay. The ever-popular Chiaka Bullseye Beet. The root vegetables, I mean, I'm still just biased towards potatoes and carrots. I need to expand my palate a little bit. I should really learn to use parsnips and beets and start using them in my diet. Okay, my shopping list right now definitely includes cabbage because I made some sauerkraut about a month ago and loved every tiny bite of it. I'm gonna make another homemade batch, and I'm probably going to also make a video about that. Another of my favorites, Brussels sprouts. Aren't they gorgeous? Like tasty green brains filled with nutrients. And this company, they are focusing on some good little known options. But if they're going to feature the bullseye, they should probably also be featuring Romanesco cauliflower. I think if I published a seed catalog, I would probably never release one without a look at the Romanesco. Very unusual, worth a peek. Oh, they look delicious. That looks incredibly tasty. Very well presented. Okay. The only dark, traditional carrot and purple style I've grown was called Purple Haze. This is an especially dingy dark, deep black and purple carrot. Gorgeous. Okay. We have some nice looking dent corn. Something I've never tried is growing corn to make into flour. But I'm hoping that's in my future. Attractive. Not too many corn offerings. Okay. I suppose on the afternoon when I make sauerkraut again, I should like to make some pickles too, but I would just love to have some growing that I could pluck and pickle myself. a beautiful range of textures. Oh my, what's this? A Korean red eggplant. The cannibal tomato eggplant. Could it be? There must be some eggplant fans on the staff. I have grown it, but I generally don't like the way it's prepared in the usual dishes. So another one I need to develop my palate towards. I must say I've never seen such an array of eggplants. I'm thinking of growing some indoor salad greens and just always having them available. Oh my. Well, this is going to require some careful attention because I don't know anything about solanum berries, but I'm intrigued. Oh, wow. Yes. I'm certain it deserves a place in every garden. Okay. Yes. With enough space, I would certainly be growing fruit trees and berry producing plants. I have one garden tour video, and it's from about 5 years ago. I don't live there anymore, and I was just starting out with backyard gardening, so there's some embarrassing lack of knowledge sorts of statements on it. But anyway, I grew loofah gourds that summer, thinking I was going to give them away for Christmas. But I dried them improperly, and they just turned moldy, so I had to abandon my entire loofah gourd harvest. But I was thrilled with finding at the end of the season that I had several nice big loofah gourds. Well, that's cute. Some variegated catgrass. That's new. Nice to see a little bit of a shake-up in something that's so common. So, very nice so far. I'm pleased with the variety. And this will be a nice catalog to keep in reference when I'm looking for specialty heirlooms. Greens from the garden. Okay, a great variety. Varying amounts of crunch and sweetness. The ever popular blends. A nice price point there on a packet for $3 for an ounce. $1,000 tiny salad plants to enjoy. Ruffled, nutrient-rich kales. Like a frosted, nice-looking frosted variety almost. Flashy butter oak lettuce, deserving of its feature photograph. These red bespeckled ones are really being featured. Very delicious. Some Celtis. usually skip melons completely because I don't like cantaloupes. I only eat watermelon a few times a year. My body responds against cantaloupe. It makes me actually feel quite nauseous. And over the years, I've sampled it every year or so, thinking maybe whatever enzymes are needed by my body to properly digest it have suddenly appeared, but it never seems to have happened. So cantaloupe actually makes me feel nauseous, and to a lesser extent, so does honeydew. And I can't eat a lot of watermelon. I like a little slice of salted watermelon occasionally in the summer, but too much of that also makes me feel quite ill. So the edible gourds, the winter squashes, summer squashes, and melons, I just avoid them. There's got to be one out there that's for me, but it's just one of those anomalies of being alive. And I'm certain that people out there will sit with their melon spoon or their melon ball or melon core utensil and just eat 3 in one sitting, but it's not for me, although these look very beautiful, and I love that peach color and that mottled skin. That looks very beautiful. Oh my. Yeah. Also, I'm not much of an okra fan. Ah, that's a nice photograph. That's kind of a nice way to present an onion. The rough chop, the rustic chop. Oh yes, so my favorite of the snacking garden treats is just a fresh pea plucked from the vine and eaten. Snap sugar, snap style edible pod peas. And stepping into the garden to enjoy a handful of peas and cherry tomatoes is one of the best experiences I could think of. And once again, great names. The tall telephone garden pea. Mammoth melting sugars. Oh, they look delicious. Okay. Pepper's another of my favorites. I think I would like one day also to grow a variety of different types of drying peppers and try them into my own pepper spice dusting blend. Wow, well, flavoring blend. A highwayman is as much a robber when he blunders in a gang as when single, and a nation that makes an unjust war is only a great gang. Okay, a misplaced Benjamin Franklin quote there. Just someone slipping in a political phrase there. So I've noticed arranged a lot of these into circular or floral motifs. That's also kind of a nice touch. So it's well done. All of that energy and talent is being spent, I would say wisely, to create an attractive catalog that's enjoyable to browse. That looks nice. It's almost like red vining licorice twists. this one's in fashion now, strawberry spinach, and I did just buy a packet of these because I got it for pennies. And first I researched them, of course, and it produces these bland red berries. But although I think the first place I heard about them, in the advertisement they said flavorsome red berries. But all signs point to bland red berries. We'll see. Truth in advertising, always welcome. Some good-looking edible zucchini flowers. So yes, here we are, attractive looking squash and pumpkins, but just not for me. I would like to grow them for the utilitarian effects. Making scoopers and birdhouses and sponges from them. A wide variety of specialty squash. Always demanding several pages. Several skippable, warty pages. Okay. Nice looking tomatillos. Okay. That's very nice that they feature a special area for green tomatoes. That's really nice. And Jolly Jack with his green giant tomatoes. Beautiful. Colors. Smiling Jolly Jack in the sunshine. Ah. Some orange snacking tomatoes. Let's see if I can find any that I've grown. The Belize pink heart. That seems interesting. And there it is. The last summer that I grew a lot of tomatoes, I had too many plants. I think I maybe had 16 or 18 plants, everything from cherry and Roma up to the bigger varieties, and it was just too much. I would probably grow maybe 5 tomato plants. I only like snacking on the small ones in the field. And then I don't often find myself wanting to cook down a big batch, but with some development of my culinary skills, I would probably really be more into tomatoes, although I do love them. And what's not to love about these exquisite tomatoes? Okay. Just filling every page with wholesome, interesting pictures. Well, here's a workable quote that deserves its place on the page. A world without tomatoes is like a string quartet without violins. We could all agree whether we just like pizza or something like the Violet Jasper heirloom. twice this year. One of my jobs is landscaping, so a couple of the clients that we work for have tomatoes, and 2 times this year I ran across the pear-shaped yellow tomatoes, which I suppose are being marketed heavily in this area. And both times I sampled them, it was the most bland, tasteless, mealy, nasty moment. And with all this variety and all these delights out there in the world, it's sad that we have to be subjected to tasteless tomatoes. Oh my gosh. The ancient watermelon. That looks great. I'm gonna go back. This variety was found in a clay pot in a cave in the southwest USA. A favorite on our farm. That looks delicious. I still remember the first time my dad brought home an orange-skinned watermelon, or an orange-flesh watermelon, and I thought it was the most novel fruit. And still today, if I was going to grow a watermelon to enhance that memory and those feelings of my childhood, I would probably grow an orange variety. Very interesting. This catalog has really surprised me. Oh, look. The first mix-up. Alright, and they also sell live plants for a variety of prices. Usually over $10. Oh, their shipping cost there is all okay. So yeah, always over 10 for their live plants. Some strange ones, I guess, including Katuk, whatever that is. Let's turn the page and find out. Tropical plant with peanut-like flavor in the leaf. An Asian cooking herb. Very nice. A mint grown for its potato-like tuber. So they're offering some unusual varieties. Well, this is a nice catalog, I must say. I think I've already got enough seed to get me through next year, but I'm going to revisit these catalogs, and I'm sure eventually something will strike my fancy. I've got some stinging nettle plants right now. I'm looking forward to the first harvest. Make some nettle tea. And I enjoyed my first sting about a week ago on my hand. Nice looking herb collection. Not an overwhelming collection of herbs, but some unusual ones represented. And maybe I'll point out some of my favorite flowers as we move forward through this portion of the catalog. right beside our front door. And I remember them just towering beside me. And the stems were always filled with ant colonies who were making their home in the hollow stems. I think that's an accurate memory, so I'm going to grow some next year in the same spot where my dad grew them many years ago. We grow a lot of orange cosmos at our client gardens. Some fine looking showy dahlias. Yep. I started out, while I grew up, mostly growing edible plants. My dad never really had too much of an interest in ornamentals. And only over the last couple of years have I started to care and started to discover the charms of ornamental plants. That's a beautiful pink polka dot. Hibiscus, I guess. Definitely has a place in a certain type of ornamental garden, I would say. Love in a Mist, strange one. Difficult, I would say, to find the right place to feature it so that it's working in concert with the plants around it. An unusual offering there. I also have a marigold growing right beside me. I started what I believed were nodding onion seeds, and it's just an ornamental onion with flowers on small stalks that bend over. And I noticed that it was looking suspiciously like a marigold, and I must have gotten my tags incorrectly stuck into the pots, because now I've got a nice winter marigold and no nodding onions to speak of. I still remember the first time I grew morning glories, and it was a very nice day when the first one bloomed. That same year I tried to grow a moonflower in tiny little restrictive pots, and they were in a bad place, and they never really produced very well. But still, I love them. Nasturtiums, always tasty and beautiful. Page after page of beautiful flowers. I'll be growing my first spider plants next year. They have good height, and also they're unusual. I have to give a little bit of thought to what types of plants to pair it with. Oh, that's strange. The paper moon. That's cool. Interesting. flowers there. Let's see, it says the seeds, pods, and plants are poisonous. Must be a different variety than the common edible peas. And beautiful zinnias. I caved in and bought some queen limes, queen red limes, I think, this year too. Let's see how those look. The pictures that won me over were vivid, bright, photoshopped looking pictures. These definitely look more realistic. So, one of the only negative complaints was by someone who'd been won over by like a photoshopped picture and was remarking about how they were a little dull, but they do have a place, I would say, and they look nice. Probably stunning in the sunshine. Well, thanks for having a look at this seed catalog with me. It's always nice to spend a couple of moments together.